In today's rapidly evolving landscape, we find ourselves increasingly absorbed by the allure of social media. It beckons with promises of connection, engagement, and relevance. But I ask you this, are we truly connecting, or merely hiding behind screens? As we scroll through endless feeds, accumulating likes and comments, do we risk losing sight of what it truly means to live a virtuous life? This dilemma deserves a profound examination. Consider for a moment the age-old wisdom that Socrates shared with his contemporaries. He emphasized that the unexamined life is not worth living. In his words, it is through introspection and critical self-reflection that we can uncover the essence of virtue. In Plato's Apology, he asserts that the examined life is essential for achieving true virtue. This is a powerful assertion, especially when viewed through the lens of our modern existence. When we engage with social media, we often present curated versions of ourselves. These picturesque portrayals can become facades, disguising our true selves. The question arises, what does it mean to live an unexamined life in today's society? This unexamined existence can lead us into the murky waters of superficiality, where gaining followers may take precedence over cultivating genuine relationships. As you navigate this digital landscape, consider the potential pitfalls that distract us from our moral purpose. While Socrates couldn't foresee social media, his concept of the examined life reveals how these platforms can become distractions from authentic connection. Is it not concerning that our worth seems increasingly tied to the number of likes we accumulate? Our value becomes quantified by algorithms rather than grounded in genuine human interaction. Each notification draws us deeper into a web of constant engagement, yet it raises a critical point: does this really enhance our lives? Does it help us develop our virtues? Imagine living in a world where your attention is perpetually up for grabs, where engagement is chased, not cultivated. This can lead to a disconnect from our deeper selves and from one another. We mask our vulnerabilities behind carefully crafted online personas, sacrificing authenticity on the altar of social validation. The more we obsess over our digital images, the less we may focus on our inner landscapes. This is where the teachings of Socrates become crucial. The notion that virtue is knowledge is the very heart of his philosophy. To know oneself is the first step in cultivating virtue, as it demands that we confront our flaws, uncertainties, and moral quandaries head-on. Let us explore the consequences of neglecting our examined lives. When you prioritize superficial interactions over genuine dialogue, you may find yourself adrift, fleetingly connecting with many yet deeply missing out on the richness of true relationships. It's easier to comment on a post than to have a meaningful conversation. These shortcuts lead us away from self-awareness and away from understanding virtue in a deeper sense. Reflecting on your own social media habits, do you merely scroll through posts, or do you take a moment to consider the quality of the interactions you're having? Is the content you share a true reflection of your beliefs and values? Having dialed into the superficial aspects of your online persona, the challenge remains: how do you reconnect with your true essence? This is where the Socratic Method shines its light. Socrates engaged in dialogues, constantly questioning and challenging assumptions. When you apply the Socratic Method to your own life, you begin to peel back the layers, asking yourself difficult questions, pondering your values, and pondering your purpose. In a world filled with distractions, this method allows you to regain focus on what it means to be virtuous. As we delve deeper into this discussion, we will explore the consequences of neglecting the examined life. Remaining passive in the face of digital distractions can undermine your moral purpose. The urgency to reflect and engage in meaningful dialogue cannot be overstated. As a society, we seem to be becoming not just less aware but less compassionate, often failing to extend the same consideration to others that we expect for ourselves. While I urge you to consider these impacts, I encourage a thought experiment. What would Socrates say about your social media interactions? Would he commend your pursuit of connection, or would he challenge you to question the profound depths of your engagement? Next, we will diagnose the modern crisis affecting our perception of virtue. As we cultivate our understanding of these elements, keep in mind that Socrates' teachings serve as a timeless guide, urging us to uncover our authentic selves. In doing so, we begin to reclaim our virtues amidst the rising noise of the digital age. Today, we face a growing dilemma, one that puts our understanding of virtue into question. The rise of social media has transformed the way we interact, shifting our values and priorities in profound ways. As we delve into this crisis, you'll begin to see how these platforms may distort our conception of what it truly means to live virtuously. You might find yourself scrolling through countless feeds, searching for likes and approval. But have you paused to consider what this pursuit entails? Is our pursuit of likes overshadowing our pursuit of wisdom? In a world dominated by superficial interactions, it's crucial to examine the societal values that govern our engagements. While Socrates couldn't foresee social media, his concept of the examined life reveals how these platforms can challenge authentic thought. When we are bombarded by endless streams of content, the opportunity for critical reflection diminishes. People engage in interactions that offer little depth or personal connection. Instead of cultivating genuine relationships, we often find ourselves navigating a landscape filled with curated facades. Moreover, these superficial connections contribute to a decline in critical thinking. When every opinion is just a click away, do we take the time to truly analyze the information at hand? Or do we accept it at face value, simply seeking validation for our existing beliefs? The Socratic Method encourages inquiry and dialogue, urging us to question ourselves and others. However, in the age of social media, the art of dialogue often succumbs to the quick exchange of sound bites and emojis. Through the lens of Socratic ignorance, we must confront our limitations and acknowledge that we may not truly understand virtue. This idea, rooted in Plato's Apology, serves as a reminder that recognizing our ignorance is the first step toward acquiring true virtue. Have we become so accustomed to passive consumption that we forget to question the very values shaping our lives? As we scroll through endless posts, how often do we actually reflect on the life we are living? This crisis leads to a misunderstanding of what it means to live virtuously. Instead of aspiring towards knowledge and self-improvement, we may find ourselves caught in an endless chase for superficial recognition and fleeting moments of happiness. This pattern has consequences not only for you but for society as a whole. We risk losing the ability to think critically and make autonomous decisions, leading us down a path where collective wisdom is sacrificed for the fast exchange of attention. In a rush to satisfy our social impulses, we neglect the deeper inquiries that Socrates would challenge us to explore. As you navigate your digital interactions, ask yourself, am I truly engaging with this content? Or am I simply passing through, looking for the next hit of validation? Socrates emphasized the importance of the examined life, yet many have traded reflection for reaction. In this digital arena, it's vital that you seek to cultivate critical thinking and challenge the norms that surround you. You might wonder what happens when we prioritize validation over virtue. Unfortunately, the consequences can be dire. Just as Socrates aimed to cultivate a deeper understanding of oneself and the world, social media can often lead us astray, away from that noble quest. It's easy to forget the importance of virtue when confirmation from strangers can feel so rewarding. To counteract this crisis of virtue, the search for knowledge must become our priority. This involves examining whom we choose to engage with and what content we allow into our lives. Ask yourself, does this interaction elevate my understanding? Am I growing as a result of this exchange? You have the power to reclaim your interactions and reframe them through the lens of virtue. Instead of simply consuming content, think critically about it. Engage in deeper conversations, valuing quality over quantity, and allow yourself the space to explore your own beliefs and values. The goal isn't just to gain acceptance but to foster an environment where authentic discovery can flourish. Understanding virtue in the context of social media may seem daunting, but it begins with a conscious effort to examine the influences around you. By doing so, you not only honor Socrates' legacy but also pave the way for a more thoughtful interaction with the world. As this part comes to a close, think about how your own habits may contribute to the current crisis of virtue. In the following part, we'll analyze what Socrates taught through his dialogues. There lies beauty in his teachings, reminding us of a world rich in inquiry and reflection. Let's embrace that as we move forward and challenge ourselves to live in accordance with virtue. In understanding our current challenges, we need to delve into the historical context of virtue in society. Virtue has long been regarded as a pivotal component of a well-functioning community. For Socrates, virtue is not merely a set of moral principles, it is fundamentally connected to knowledge. The idea that true virtue arises from knowledge suggests that ignorance leads to actions devoid of ethical consideration. This presents an urgent question: how have societal shifts contributed to our current challenges? The transition from strong community ties to a more individualistic society has been profound. Traditionally, individuals found identity and purpose within their communities. Shared values and collective goals fostered a sense of belonging, allowing people to navigate their moral landscapes in concert with others. However, the rise of individualism has shifted this dynamic, prioritizing personal desires and ambitions over the common good. This begs the question: is knowledge becoming obsolete in a world full of distraction? As we navigate this transition, the role of technology emerges as a crucial factor in shaping moral perceptions. While Socrates couldn't foresee social media, his concept of virtue reminds us to examine how these new platforms influence our understanding of what is right and wrong. The prevalence of social media has created environments where opinions can overshadow truths. You may find yourself bombarded with information, making it increasingly challenging to discern virtue amidst chaos. Take a moment to reflect on your own experience. You log into a social media platform, and what do you encounter? A stream of opinions, often louder than reasoned discourse or thoughtful inquiry. This digital landscape can foster a sense of connection without the depth of genuine understanding. While technology has the potential to broaden perspectives, it can also reinforce ignorance if we lose our ability to critically engage with the information we consume. Understanding these roots is crucial for addressing our current state. The disconnection from communal values and the overwhelming influence of technology leads to moral ambiguity. We must ask ourselves, how do we reclaim our ability to discern virtue in a world that often prioritizes sensationalism over substance? As we continue our exploration, keep in mind the essence of Socratic teachings. These teachings implore us to engage in self-reflection and inquiry, the very essence of the examined life. This brings us to the important realization that knowledge is not a passive resource. It requires active engagement and a willingness to question our assumptions. In the traditions of ancient Greece, virtue was intertwined with civic responsibility. To be virtuous meant understanding one's place in society and the duties that came with it. But today, as individualism reigns, we often lose sight of this connection. The digital age encourages self-promotion rather than self-examination. This shift puts the onus of virtue solely on the individual, unmoored from the community that once provided moral guidance. You may wonder about the implications of this transformation. In a community-focused society, knowledge and virtue flourish through shared experiences. The Socratic Method, characterized by dialogue and questioning, thrived in environments where individuals could actively engage with one another to uncover truth. Today, however, you are likely to find that face-to-face discussions are replaced by quick exchanges of ideas in 30-second clips or thumb-stopping posts. What is lost in this transition? The depth of inquiry that comes from sustained contemplation. As we move further into a world defined by algorithms and instant gratification, we risk losing the ability to engage meaningfully with ourselves and with others. Our understanding of virtue becomes diluted, leading to actions that may feel disconnected from ethical knowledge. Consider the implications of this as you navigate your own life. Have you ever felt frustration when engaging with topics that require thoughtful dialogue only to find that time and space for discussion is eclipsed by the speed of digital interactions? You are not alone. This frustration is sort of an echo of Socrates' lamentation of a society that prioritizes appearance over substance. You may find it increasingly difficult to apply Socratic questioning in an age where responses require quick reflexes rather than critical thinking. As we explore further into these themes, we arrive at another important understanding: virtue thrives in environments where dialogue is encouraged. The principles of virtue demand that we not only know what is right but that we also engage with those who challenge our thinking. To reclaim our capacity for virtue, we must challenge ourselves to foster deeper conversations, even when distractions abound around us. The complexities of your truth need not be concealed beneath the noise. Engaging with others, probing their ideas, and being willing to change your own perspectives are vital components of virtuous living. While societal shifts have undeniably created challenges, they also provide an opportunity for reflection. You have the capacity to reclaim the virtues that guide you, recognizing that they stem from within but flourish best in community contexts. True knowledge arises from dialogue, reflection, and a commitment to the examined life that Socrates so passionately championed. As we look toward the next segment of our discussion, we will analyze Socratic teachings in depth. These teachings offer critical insights that can illuminate our understanding of virtue in the contemporary world. By consistently engaging with the principles of inquiry, we can navigate the complexities that modern life presents, connecting back to that essential truth that virtue is knowledge. And through knowledge, we reclaim our ethical compass in the midst of discontent. What if asking deeper questions could transform our understanding of virtue? This fundamental inquiry was at the heart of Socratic philosophy. Socrates dedicated his life to dissecting the notion of virtue, and his teachings resonate just as profoundly today. In a world overflowing with superficial engagement, his insights remain invaluable. As he famously stated, "The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be who you are." In this part, we will delve into the essence of Socratic wisdom surrounding virtue, and how applying these teachings can illuminate our own paths. To understand Socratic wisdom, you must first recognize how Socrates approached the concept of virtue. He emphasized that virtue is overarchingly tied to knowledge. Simply put, Socrates taught that to know good is to do good. This is eloquently captured in his claim, "Virtue is knowledge." The idea that one can know what is virtuous and yet act otherwise was unthinkable for Socrates. His assertion implores you to consider, can you truly claim to know anything without questioning your beliefs? This assertion urges a profound exploration into your values and assumptions. To facilitate this journey, Socrates employed a method that is now dubbed the Socratic Method. It revolves around dialogue, a genuine exchange in which questions are posed not simply to elicit answers but to explore the depths of understanding. As stated in Plato's Phaedrus, the Socratic method drives the participant towards uncovering truth through questioning and self-reflection. Every question is an invitation, an opening to explore deeper meanings and to challenge existing notions. In engaging in this dialogue, you can examine what virtue means in your own life. Are you simply adhering to societal definitions of good? Or have you challenged yourself to know what is truly virtuous? Perhaps you've faced moments when the popular opinion seemed like an easy way out but felt misaligned with your inner truth. These are the moments where the Socratic method becomes not just a theoretical exercise but a practical tool, guiding you toward authenticity and self-awareness. As you ponder these queries, consider also how dialogues play a critical role in seeking truth. Each conversation holds the potential to unearth new ideas and challenge your perceptions. Socrates believed that through meaningful discourse, one could move towards wisdom. Paradoxically, wisdom begins with recognizing one's own ignorance, a concept he famously termed Socratic ignorance. Understanding that you do not have all the answers acts as the springboard for deeper inquiry and growth. You might ask, how does this relate to today's landscape, particularly with the omnipresence of social media? While Socrates couldn't foresee social media, his concept of the examined life reveals how these platforms challenge authentic thought. Social media often presents a curated facade, distorting reality. Are you participating in this digital dialogue mindlessly, or are you engaging critically? The Socratic method encourages you to evaluate the information you consume, fostering a healthy skepticism of the narratives that dominate your feed. Moreover, in your discussions and interactions online, the teachings of Socrates remind you to encourage curiosity rather than conformity. Copies of quotes and filtered images may only scratch the surface of authentic engagement. You are invited, instead, to ask, what is the truth underlying the content you view and share? Does it align with your understanding of virtue? Delving deeper into the implications of Socratic wisdom on virtue, let's consider the modern workplace. Do you engage in transparent conversations with colleagues? By promoting a culture of inquiry and dialogue, you create an environment where critical thinking flourishes. Imagine a team meeting where expressing uncertainty and asking questions doesn't lead to criticism but to collaborative exploration. This aligns perfectly with the heart of the Socratic method, recognizing ignorance not as weakness but as an opportunity for communal growth. In every facet of life, from online interactions to workplace dynamics, Socrates' teachings on virtue prompt you to reassess your understanding. How often do you pause to examine your motivations and the ethical implications of your actions? By understanding these teachings, we can better navigate our lives. Socratic wisdom empowers you to challenge prevailing assumptions and take ownership of your moral compass. Thus far, we've explored the essence of virtue through the lens of Socratic dialogue, where questioning leads to wisdom. As we proceed, we will navigate misconceptions that hinder our understanding of virtue. This next exploration will help uncover the layers that often obscure clear sight. Your journey into Socratic wisdom about virtue is not complete without grappling with what might misguide your thinking. As you prepare for the next part, reflect on how preconceptions may have shaped your current understanding of what it means to live a virtuous life. The path to true insight often involves dissecting errors in thought and challenging them courageously. Every step along this path, grounded in the teachings of Socrates, is a step toward an enriched understanding of your life and actions. When exploring Socratic philosophy, you might encounter various interpretations. Some highlight profound insights, while others lead to misunderstandings. Today, let's address these common misinterpretations. You may have heard that Socrates advocated for absolute certainty in knowledge. This is a misconception. In fact, Socrates did the opposite. He emphasized the importance of acknowledging one's ignorance. In Plato's Apology, he famously stated, "I know that I know nothing." This perspective invites you to question the validity of your knowledge, challenging the assumption that certainty should be the ultimate goal. Instead of striving for absolute answers, embracing uncertainty opens the path toward greater understanding. Another common misconception involves the distinction between wisdom and knowledge. These terms often get conflated. You might think that merely accumulating facts could lead to wisdom. However, Socratic philosophy teaches you that wisdom requires a deeper understanding. Wisdom is not about knowing more, it's about knowing yourself and recognizing the limits of your knowledge. So, how do you differentiate between the two? Knowledge can be viewed as the collection of information. In contrast, wisdom involves applying that knowledge in a meaningful and ethical way. When you reflect on this distinction, it enhances your understanding of virtue and how to embody it in everyday life. Next, let's discuss the examined life. You may have internalized the idea that the examined life means to constantly analyze and critique every aspect of your existence. It's easy to think that overthinking leads to self-awareness. But is that truly the essence of what Socrates proposed? The Socratic method invites you to engage in dialogue that brings about self-discovery. This doesn't always mean endless self-analysis, but rather thoughtful engagement with your thoughts and beliefs. So, how often do you engage in this process of examining your life? Are your reflections sincere, or do you accept superficial knowledge without questioning? Socratic inquiry encourages you to dig deeper. One important aspect of Socrates' philosophy is the Socratic paradox. The idea that true wisdom lies in recognizing your own ignorance challenges traditional notions of knowing. Often, you might feel pressured to present definitive answers, believing this reflects intelligence. However, Socratic thought emphasizes that understanding what you don't know is a form of wisdom in itself. Embracing your ignorance allows you to pursue knowledge more effectively. You open doors to genuine learning. By doing so, you move away from the misconception that wisdom is merely about being right. Understanding these misconceptions helps refine your interpretation of virtue. Virtue, according to Socratic thought, is inherently linked to knowledge. If you can accept your ignorance and actively seek understanding, you pave the way for virtuous living. This can lead to ethical actions and meaningful interactions in your life. Imagine approaching your relationships with this understanding. Would your conversations become more profound? Would your interactions shift toward authenticity? Now, let's reflect on how these misinterpretations manifest in our modern lives. While Socrates couldn't foresee social media, his concept of the examined life reveals how these platforms challenge authentic thought. You may find yourself scrolling through endless feeds, absorbing information without questioning. Does this strategy enhance your knowledge, or does it create a facade of understanding? It's crucial to reflect on how the digital landscape complicates your ability to engage in genuine inquiry. You might encounter superficial knowledge masquerading as truth. This makes it even more essential to embrace the Socratic method in your daily interactions. Take a moment to consider your practices. Are you surrounding yourself with people who promote deep dialogues, or are you drawn into soundbites and memes that satisfy your immediate curiosity? Socratic inquiry fosters the ability to question, analyze, and debate ideas rather than passively absorbing information. You owe it to yourself to engage meaningfully with the world. Think about a conversation you had recently. Did it challenge your understanding, or did it merely scratch the surface? Ensuring your discourse is rich and enlightening is an essential part of living an examined life. Additionally, it's vital to be aware of how societal pressures might steer you away from the Socratic method. In a fast-paced world, jumping to conclusions can feel safer than acknowledging uncertainty. However, remember that Socrates promoted questioning. Thus, in your interactions, whether in professional settings, friendships, or social media dialogues, embracing curiosity helps break down barriers. It invites vulnerability and fosters connections that are more profound than just sharing opinions. Before we conclude, let's address the importance of applying these insights. Next, we'll provide practical frameworks for how to incorporate Socratic thinking into your life. Allow yourself to witness how questioning assumptions, actively listening, and engaging in thoughtful dialogue opens new avenues for understanding. As you proceed on this journey of self-examination, remember that it is more valuable to inquire than to claim absolute certainty. You might face challenges, yet these inquiries ultimately lead to growth. In summary, acknowledging the common misunderstandings of Socratic teachings can enhance your pursuit of virtue. By recognizing the difference between wisdom and knowledge, and understanding the essence of the examined life, you equip yourself to navigate today's complex world. Embrace the discomfort that comes with uncertainty and question everything. In this way, you cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself and, ultimately, of virtue itself. In today's digital age, you might find yourself overwhelmed by information. Social media constantly bombards you with opinions, trends, and noise. How can you navigate this storm and reclaim your virtue? The answer lies in the timeless teachings of Socrates. Let's explore practical tools you can adopt to embrace his philosophy today. First, consider implementing the Socratic method in your daily life. This method involves asking probing questions to stimulate critical thinking and illuminate ideas. Imagine you find yourself engaging in a heated discussion online. How would the conversation change if you paused to ask yourself why you believe what you believe? What if a simple question could change your perspective? Instead of jumping to conclusions or reacting impulsively, you could utilize the Socratic method by formulating questions for both yourself and others. For instance, instead of stating your opinion outright, ask, "What evidence supports this view?" Or "How does this connect to my understanding of virtue?" Through this process, you not only clarify your thoughts but also encourage others to think critically. Now, let's talk about engaging with critical thinking exercises. In his dialogues, Socrates often emphasized the importance of self-examination, famously stating, "The unexamined life is not worth living." To put this into practice, set aside time each week for reflective thinking. This could be in the form of journaling, where you explore your beliefs, emotions, and motivations? How would your decisions shift if they were rooted in self-knowledge? Such reflective practices help you align your actions with your understanding of virtue. Engaging with critical thinking exercises can also take many forms. Consider reading a thought-provoking book or listening to a compelling podcast. Afterward, challenge yourself to discuss the ideas with a friend or family member. This dialogue fosters a deeper understanding of the material and encourages you to articulate your thoughts clearly. It allows you to break the cycle of superficiality often encountered in everyday conversations. Let's transition to the significance of fostering dialogue over monologue. In a world where social media often promotes monologues, where people speak over each other, conversational engagement is more vital than ever. Socratic dialogue is about sharing perspectives, not winning arguments. When engaging with others, ask open-ended questions that invite them to express their thoughts. For example, after someone shares their viewpoint, try responding with, "What led you to that conclusion?" This not only enriches the conversation but also allows for a deeper exploration of ideas. In today's fast-paced environment, it's easy to assume you understand someone else's viewpoint without genuinely listening. By fostering dialogue, you practice the art of listening. Socrates believed that knowing oneself would help guide moral decision-making. So, when you listen deeply, you may discover new dimensions of understanding, allowing you to refine your virtue. As you implement these tools, remember that the journey towards virtue is not a destination but a continuous process. You are not expected to have all the answers right away. Instead, approach your self-discovery with curiosity and humility, embracing Socratic ignorance as a strength. You are cultivating an attitude open to learning and growth. While Socrates couldn't foresee social media, his concept of the examined life reveals how these platforms challenge authentic thought. Engage critically with the information you encounter online. Ask yourself, does this align with my virtues? Does it serve my pursuit of knowledge? Being mindful about your consumption allows you to maintain your integrity and pursue meaningful interactions. Now, let's discuss step-by-step application methods. Start by selecting a specific area of your life where you want to apply the Socratic Method, perhaps in your workplace or personal relationships. Next, identify key questions that prompt self-reflection and stimulate dialogue. For instance, in your workplace, you might ask your colleagues, "What challenges are we facing, and how might we collaboratively overcome them?" This shifts the focus from individual competition to collective problem solving. In your personal relationships, practice initiating dialogues that foster understanding. Begin with questions that lead to deeper discussions, such as, "What values do you hold most dear, and why?" This creates an environment where both you and your conversation partner can explore your beliefs together. Consider hosting a regular discussion group focused on topics that matter to you. This could be informal get-togethers or virtual meetings. Providing a space for diverse perspectives enhances mutual understanding and promotes the Socratic spirit of inquiry. Encouraging everyone to ask questions and share insights reinforces the idea that the learning never stops. Ultimately, integrating these Socratic tools into your life can lead to profound changes. You can break free from superficiality and cultivate deeper relationships. By embracing critical thinking, asking meaningful questions, and fostering real dialogue, you align yourself with Socratic principles. You might find that your journey toward virtue enriches not only your life but also the lives of those around you. In summary, remember that knowing yourself is fundamental to achieving virtue. Each question you ask, every dialogue you engage in, brings you steps closer to wisdom. It's a lifelong endeavor, but the rewards of living a life aligned with virtue are immeasurable. Reclaim your virtue, starting today. In today's world, we often find ourselves lost in the noise of distractions, searching for authenticity in a landscape that feels increasingly superficial. As Socrates would urge, embarking on the path to authenticity begins with an essential practice, self-reflection. You might ask yourself, what does it truly mean to live a virtuous life? This inquiry is the cornerstone of the examined life. By engaging in daily self-reflection, you're not just thinking about your actions, you're contemplating the underlying principles that guide them. Reflection allows you to align your life with your values, fostering a stronger connection to your true self. While Socrates couldn't foresee social media, his concept of virtue as knowledge reveals that these platforms often distract us from our moral compass. So, how can you use self-reflection to combat these distractions? Begin by setting aside a few moments each day for introspection. Ask yourself probing questions, such as, did my actions align with my principles today? Or what could I have done differently to embody virtue? Engaging in this regular practice illuminates the gaps between your current state and your aspirational ideals. Now, consider the importance of meaningful conversations. Socrates mastered dialogue, employing the Socratic method to extract deeper truths not only from himself but also from those around him. Engaging in intentional, meaningful conversations can significantly deepen your understanding of virtue. When you converse with others, how often do you truly seek to understand their views? What if, instead of merely sharing opinions, you focused on exploring the principles behind those opinions? This practice can foster a community of inquiry, where individuals challenge and support each other in their quests for virtue. Ask yourself, what would it look like to prioritize virtue in every decision? This question invites you to rethink the interactions you have on a daily basis. Next time you engage in discussion, whether online or in person, focus on uplifting the discourse. Rather than participating in superficial chit-chat, aim to unravel complexities and moral dilemmas, as Socrates would have encouraged. You can start by discussing current events, ethical dilemmas, or personal experiences that challenge your understanding of virtue. This creates a space for honest dialogue and encourages you to embody the very principles you wish to explore. As you embark on this journey, set personal standards for virtue that resonate with you. While it may seem intimidating, think of it as a personal manifesto grounded in your understanding of virtue. Your standards can serve as benchmarks, guiding your actions and decisions. In Plato's Republic, Socrates emphasizes that virtue is contingent upon knowledge, meaning that understanding what is good and just directly impacts your ability to live virtuously. Ask yourself, what does knowledge of virtue look like in my daily life? Establish personal guidelines that promote honesty, integrity, and compassion. With these standards in place, your decision-making becomes more authentic, leading you to a more fulfilling life. But can we truly become virtuous without change? If you want to embrace the principles of Socratic wisdom, you must be prepared to adapt. Change is an inherent part of personal growth. Reflect on your experiences and be open to learning from them. If your initial understanding of a situation shifts through conversation or self-reflection, allow that change to inform your principles. The journey toward authenticity is not linear, it requires flexibility and an openness to evolve continually. You might wonder how these daily practices relate to our fast-paced, modern world. Think about the impact of technology on your thought processes. While Socrates couldn't foresee the internet, his insights into virtue can help you navigate the emerging challenges of our digital age. Social media platforms, while a tool for connection, often promote superficial interactions that can dilute your understanding of authenticity. Are you engaging meaningfully through these mediums, or are you contributing to the noise? This challenge underlines the urgency of practical application, vital to combat our crisis of virtue. Consider taking a digital detox or curating your social media feeds to reflect accounts that foster growth and virtuous discussions. Engage with content that encourages self-reflection and meaningful exchanges rather than mindless scrolling. Your time online can be an opportunity to practice the principles Socrates championed. By being mindful of your online interactions, you align your digital persona with your pursuit of virtue. In essence, the journey toward authenticity is about aligning your daily actions with a broader understanding of virtue. By integrating the practice of self-reflection, meaningful conversations, and setting personal standards into your life, you allow Socratic wisdom to resonate within you. You're not merely existing, you're crafting a life infused with integrity and purpose. As you consider the concepts we've explored, think about how you can begin implementing them today. The path to authenticity and virtue starts with small, intentional changes. What if you committed to engaging in one meaningful conversation each week? What if you reflected on your day each evening? This commitment, however small, can create a ripple effect, influencing not only your life but also the lives of those around you. Socrates believed in the transformative power of knowledge and virtue. In embracing his principles, you participate in a legacy that transcends time and technological limitations. Next, we'll synthesize our insights and initiate action as we continue exploring how Socratic wisdom can guide us toward an authentic and virtuous life. As we conclude this exploration, let's reflect on the journey we've undertaken together. We've ventured from the superficiality that often defines our engagements to the authentically empowering principles of Socratic thought. This journey is not just an intellectual exercise, it's a path to reclaiming our virtue, to cultivate a life that truly matters. While Socrates lived long before the rise of social media, his concept of the examined life reveals a critical lens through which we can view our modern interactions. Every time you engage with digital platforms, you face a moment of choice. Are you merely participating in a cycle of likes and shares, or are you seeking something deeper? Tomorrow morning, as you engage with social media, pause and ask yourself, is this my choice or society's expectation? This simple question is a gateway to deeper reflection. Socrates urged us to confront our actions and decisions, to question the motivations underlying them. When we initiate this practice of self-reflection, we steer away from a life of unexamined routines towards one that champions virtue. In the spirit of Socratic philosophy, I challenge you to take this idea into your daily life. The next time you feel compelled to post or react, utilize that moment as a timeout for self-examination. Ask, does engaging in this way align with my values? Is this contributing to my growth or detracting from my authentic self? When we embrace the examined life, we not only grow as individuals, but we also inspire others to do the same. If this video has challenged how you think about virtue, I invite you to hit that like button. Your engagement doesn't just affirm your journey toward authenticity, it also helps others trapped in shallow engagement by showing them this vital discussion on virtue. Every action you take echoes beyond you, shaping the conversation in a world desperate for authenticity. Moreover, think of someone in your life who might be stuck in superficial interactions. Share this video with them. You have the power to create meaningful discussions around virtue and the examined life. Just as Socrates stirred dialogue in the marketplace, you can be a catalyst for change and reflection in your own circles. Together, let's build a community dedicated to living authentically, focusing on the principles of virtue that Socrates so passionately elucidated. If you're interested in exploring deeper aspects of the examined life, consider subscribing to our channel. Join us as we further cultivate our understanding of virtue and its application in today's complex world. In next week's video, we'll delve into the concept of Socratic ignorance.